be fantastic. If not, I'll go through and mute y'all. Um, okay, we have some, so people want to, we have some questions. I'll grab those in a bit.
Should we get
And
started, Heidi?
yeah,
Heidi, I
we've
was
got
going to
lots.
present, and Heidi's going to manage the chat room. She'll feed me questions or answer questions or whatever we need to do with the chat questions, right, Heidi?
Yeah.
Is that good? Okay. So
So,
let
okay.
me share my screen, and then, well, I guess you're doing the first few slides. I just wanted to go over the agenda. We just did introductions. We're going to go over the grant basics, how to find a partner, a few basic application tips. We'll go into the application more next week, how to find some webinars, and common challenges and solutions. So go ahead, Heidi, you're handling the first few slides.
All right. So just to let everybody know about all the different rounds. So if you're just joining us and joining the program, there's already been some rounds 1 and 2. There's a whole bunch of people who have been waitlisted from rounds 1 and 2. Round 3 ends today. I don't know, probably a little bit later on this afternoon. And it's only available for those who have submitted their applications in round 1 and 2. So there's people being taken off the wait list and being selected for a grant. So if a business was waitlisted, they should not reapply. There's no no new applications being accepted. So this is all sort of happening behind the scenes, and you probably don't you might be fielding status questions from your clients, and they should call the Lendistry call center, which we'll put up at the very end. So Susan, next, you want to? So what starts next week is the nonprofit cultural round. Only nonprofits in the arts and cultural arena, and they have to have a certain NACE code that's like an industry code, and they're listed, and it will kind of, they're listed in the application guide. Only those organizations can apply during that week. There's some money set aside for those organizations, and Tara just put her information in there. She is one of the people that will be helping on those. And they've taken the revenue size requirement off this round. So they're a nonprofit in the arts and cultural field with certain NACE codes. They can have any revenue side and apply. They Those nonprofit cultural organizations have already applied, can reapply for round 4. Round 4 is kind of a completely separate program. So if they want to be considered for round 4 for this special carve out, they have to reapply. It's same kind of information, but they have to reapply. And then you can see page 5 of the Arts and Cultural Application Guide. I think that's for the for the NACE codes. Is that right, Susan? And then
I believe so, yeah.
yeah, and then there's also on the website, on the Lendistry website, which there's a button at the top, and you can get information on where to find people who can help you. So that is the California Relief Grant I'm going to put it up into chat. California CA Relief Grant. careliefgrant.com. There's a button at the very top there that says Application for Arts and Culture Institute, and you can go right there. You scroll down and you'll see contact information for California Association of Museums, California Nonprofits, California for the Arts. Those are all the organizations helping for those groups. I will grab your questions as soon as Susan's talking. We'll answer those in a bit, but we can move on to round 5, which
Okay, I
is,
just wanted to just clarify for people on this call that Cameo is not providing special services for the culture, this nonprofit
yes.
cultural round. So please go to these organizations listed in the last bullet, and you can find them on the main website for the California Relief Grant for specific webinars and help for cultural organizations, because we're focusing on the for-profit businesses, not the nonprofits.
Yep.
All right, so here's some
Yeah,
webinar.
there's a bunch of webinars and resources for you to get familiar with some of these. California Arts for the Arts has a webinar. There's the California Small Biz Nonprofit Relief Programs. There's an overview. There's a webinar that you can send people to, that you can watch, that you can send to your clients. These are public. Please send as many people as you want. And then there's also a how to apply webinar as well. So, and Susan's popping those links into chat, and we will send these out to you afterwards. We'll send you all the slides. Every day next week, Tara. Awesome. So they're offering a webinar for round 4. So if you know arts and cultural nonprofits, send them Tara's way. Great.
I've got one more to pop into chat,
Pop
Heidi.
the last one in there.
I'm having oh, sorry, hold on. Come on. My screen doesn't want to show the chat room. Hold on, I'm getting there. All right, I think I have all 3 now in chat.
Awesome. And yet, like I said, you'll get these slides so we can send those over to you.
Heidi,
Round 5. What?
Hey, Tina, can I add something in real quick?
Sure.
With the webinar?
Wait, let's introduce you, Tina.
Oh, hey guys. I am Tina. I am one of the relationship managers with Lindustry, and I have the pleasure of working with Cameo. And maybe someone else, I can't see everybody on the call right now, but the pleasure of directly supporting Cameo. If you guys have any questions or needs, give them to Cameo, and then they'll come to me and we'll support some of those needs, especially with supporting the applicants as far as like the webinars and things like that. I wanted to add a caveat in there that we found was very helpful, that when we're doing webinars and we're doing presentations like this with groups, that if you might, and we've done this before when we did the PA Cares grant, say if you have a group of people just like this group and they're actually doing the application, have them to take the application out or pull it up themselves while you're going through the webinar and or while you're training on it, because it helps them to actually do it in real time. So some of you might already be doing that and some might not be, but we found it to be very, very helpful because it's live in the moment. They can use if they're doing their computer preferably, but even if they're using their phone, if they're doing the application while you're doing the webinar, it cuts back on a lot of questioning and it helps them in the moment. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Great. Thank you, Tina. That's a little helpful hint. We're full of them today. We will give you many, many helpful hints today. So round 5. Round 5 is really exciting. Round 5 is when new businesses can start to apply for the grant. So it starts on Thursday, March 25th and goes through Wednesday, March 31st. What will happen to current waitlisted small businesses that weren't selected in rounds 1, 2, or 3 is that those people, those business owners and those applications will get automatically rolled over into round 5. They do not need to reapply again. They'll get be under consideration for round 5. And remember, there's quite a bit of money in the pot now. So that's really exciting. And round 5 will also be eligible for new applicants that meet the eligibility criteria. Well, I think we'll go through a little bit of that, but not extensively today. So round 6 it kind of works the same way. We don't know exactly when it's going to be, unless Lendistry has another behind the scenes piece of intelligence they can pass on. But it will be TBD, obviously, after round 5, so not in March, in April. Eligible applicants, the same thing. Everybody will be rolled over into the next round. And new applicants will also be able to apply. There is a question that someone is asking: if a 50c3 applies in round 4 but isn't selected, will they roll to round 5? No. If they just applied in round 4, they need to reapply for round 5. Round 4 is a separate little program that's almost a separate grant, but it's not, it's all being run through the same stuff. So it's our round 4. So it's a separate thing. So if they only applied in round 4, they need to reapply in round 5. If they applied in round 1, 2, or 3, they will be rolled over. Okay. So
Okay,
let's see.
so
And
I
I think I can kick it to Susan now.
Okay, thanks, Heidi. And Heidi can go see what's happening in chat, and I'll just keep going. So we'll kind of start at the beginning here, that the Relief Grant Basics is run, as Tina said, it's run by a company called Lendistry that ran the previous rounds and will run the future ones. And I wanted to use the application guideline to show you some information, and you can find the application guideline right on the website. So if you go to that website right there, maybe you'll want to just put it in the chat room, Heidi, so everybody's got it. You can find the application guide right there on the home page. If you scroll down about halfway down, there's application guides. There's one for for-profits and there's one for nonprofits. But what I wanted to do was, I think what I want to do next is actually go to, let me go to the application and just show you guys some basic stuff. So I have a question. Are you guys looking at the application guide now, or do I have to stop sharing?
You have to stop sharing. We still see your
Okay.
slides.
All righty. Sorry about that. I never know quite what the rules are with Zoom sometimes. Okay, so you've seen the application guide now? Heidi?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great.
Sorry,
All right, so as you can see, this is 94 pages. It's a little bit of a thing to get through it all, and we're not going through it all today, but I want to show you some highlights. So I'm going to start on page 4 here. So program overview. So some of the stuff that Heidi just talked about, the rounds, it's right there on page 4. If you're confused about when they are, or how much money or who's doing what, the rounds are explained here. And Lendistry does update this thing as the program evolves. So if you download an application guideline today, I really recommend refresh it in 2 or 3 days, because things can change and you want to have the most current information. So like I said, I'm just going to hop to a few places. So on page 9, I just want to point out most businesses are eligible that are in California that have been running since I think it was June 1st or something, 2019. It is not for startups. This is a program for businesses that were impacted and harmed by COVID. So there has to be some demonstration of loss of revenue. But if they're in California, they've been in business and they can demonstrate some loss of revenue, probably are eligible. The main one that I think for some of us in Northern California, which is me, other parts of California, is the socially undesirable activity businesses, which often includes like the cannabis businesses. And I know some of our communities have quite a few cannabis businesses in the area, and those businesses are not eligible. There's obviously some other things here too, but I'm just doing some high level for you. So use of funds, what it can be used for. It can be used for all kinds of stuff. Payroll costs, working capital such as overhead, rent, utilities, mortgage, reopening business operations, complying with COVID-19. So it really covers pretty much any legitimate business expense, either directly related to COVID-19 or something that a business owner is struggling to make ends meet because of COVID. So, And there's a few ineligible uses right over here, which you can look at on page 11. So here's the funding structure. Businesses with revenue up to 100,000 can get up to $5,000. From $100,000 in gross revenue to $1 million, you can get $15,000, and from $1 million to $2.5 million, they can get up to $25,000. So those are the, you can always take less, but these are the maximum amounts available. Now, this is the part we were going to go over the application next week in our Train the Trainers webinar. But one of the things, if you're starting to work now with clients, and I really recommend you do that, is these are the things that it's before you even look at that application, it'd be great to get these documents just ready to go in some digital format before you even open an application. So it's a copy of the signed application certification, and we're going to go over that next week. It's right there on the website. You can download it, and there's a bunch of initials and signatures that are required on that. All pages of, it says most recent tax return, but my understanding is they're just accepting 2019 tax returns from now on. Tina, do I have that right? 2019 only. So it says most recent here, but 2020s aren't acceptable and 2018s aren't acceptable. It's got to be a 2019 tax return. Acceptable form of a government issue photo ID, so like a driver's license or a passport. Acceptable evidence that you have at least some annual revenue of no less than 1,000 per year. So that's probably your tax return. And then later on, this is like stage one of all these things. In stage two, you will need to show that you have some government issued business, proving you're in business, articles of incorporation, certificate of organization, fictitious name, or a government issued business license, one of those things. So those are the main documents to get organized for everybody. So I'm going to hop forward. I'm not going to go through them all, but I wanted to let you know that in this guideline.
Before you go on, Susan, could
Sure.
you answer the question, what's a certificate of organization?
I believe, is that for LLCs? I'm not 100% sure, but that might be for limited liability
So
companies.
certificate of organization are the entity documents. So what you applied, how you applied through the state to make your organization legal. So it could be your articles of incorporation. It could be an entity docs from the Secretary of State from California that explains that your organization is legally operating in the state.
Got it. Thank you, Tina. Thanks for that.
And I want to add one other thing, Susan, to the documents. As you're asking people to do their documents and gather them, this is a very important piece, is that when they're gathering their documentation and they're getting it digital, it's very important to ask them to get it in a PDF format for everything other than maybe their photo ID. Their photo ID, they can send it in a picture format, but you want them to get it in a PDF format. And the most important thing is that when they upload it, they upload one document. They put all of the pages in one document. What has been very hard is that, say for your tax returns, it's 14 pages. And when they upload it, they do it one page at a time. And so when we get it on our end, it comes up as 14 different documents. So if they upload all pages to one document, that makes it a lot easier to be able to process and read in PDF format.
So just to clarify, Tina, because each type of document goes in one file. So like all the taxes, if you have 10 pages in your tax return, that should be in one file. In a different file should be the form of your ID. In a different file should be the application certification. Don't put all of them together. Do not put all of those together in one document, all of the different types of files.
Right. And what, Tina, maybe you could look up while I continue on and let me know when I've done a couple more things. There's a page in here somewhere, which I didn't write down, that gives some tips about apps and stuff. Can you tell me what page that is?
Yep, I can get that page for you. And it's very helpful to help with if you only have certain devices to be able to
There's some good
Yes.
instructions in this thing, and I forgot to ID what page that is before we got
That's
started.
okay. I'll grab it for you and I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you. So, so I just wanted to say, pages 24 through 28 in this guide is a lot of basic information about, here's a nice chart about the rounds, about who's eligible for what rounds and who's the new applicant, where existing applicants, explained in a nice chart. Depending on how you think, this is a little flow chart on how the rounds work. If that is helpful for you and the customers, here's a nice flow chart. Here's for the arts and cultural flow chart. Here's rounds 5 and 6 flow chart. So if the flow chart thing works, that I feel like this is a great way to go and figure it out. The page 29 is the one I think is also really useful. It's like what to do before applying, because I know the first impulse is to hit like apply now, but really it should be the fourth thing you do. These 1, 2, and 3 are the really important to do before you hit the apply now button and try to help your clients get through 1, 2, and 3. So 1 is to review the application guide. Now, probably a lot of your clients are not going to read 94 pages, but certainly all of you should. And try to highlight the parts that are important and make sure you need to, figure out what you need to communicate to your clients. There are videos on the website about the application process. And if you like them, share them. They're there in different languages. Please share them with your clients or review them with your clients. And then this big one that we've just been talking about is for preparing required documents, getting them all the documents ready in PDF format before you open up the application. So what page was that on, Tina? Did you find it?
44.
44. Let me just go there really fast because I probably think that would be a good thing.
My computer went a little crazy, so let's check to see to make sure. Nope, it's not there. Give me a second. My computer is freezing.
Okay. I don't know if Heidi, you can do
Keep
it.
going, I'll pull it up.
Okay. Somewhere in here, there's a really nice section on helping you with, there's some, if your customers are mobile based, I'm going to stop sharing because I think this is distracting. If your customers really just have a phone, there's some good apps that don't just take pictures, which is a certain format, but they can make a PDF. But then you'd probably have to have another app that puts them all together in one file. So like you take 14 shots with your phone of your tax return. And then there's an app that will turn those into a PDF and roll them into one PDF. So if you figure out what that is, Tina, that would be great. Otherwise, I think I'm going to move.
Susan, it's page 31.
Okay, so let me go to page 31.
Thank you, Heidi.
Page 31. So sorry, close your eyes while I go backwards here. I know this is sort of annoying to watch. Yeah. So here's on page 31, submit documents in proper form, which means PDF. And so there's some do's and don'ts down here. And if you look at the bottom here, looking for Genius Scan or Adobe Scan, these are some free mobile apps that allow you to create the PDFs required with a mobile device. So that's really the other page I think that's super important is page 31. On helpful hints for mobile device PDF creation.
And to add to that, guys, thank you, Heidi and Susan. To add to that, if you have an Apple device, an iPhone, the Notes app on your iPhone, I know it's not on here, but the Notes app has a scan feature. So anyone with an iPhone, if you go into your notes and click on like you're going to start a note, and it'll have the photo, it'll ask to scan documents. You can use that and save it and upload it as a PDF. It's a very neat feature that most of us might not know is right in our apps on our iPhone.
I didn't know that. Okay, good to know. Because most of us are used to taking pictures with our phones, but really what we're doing in this case is scanning, which is a different function and leads to a different type of document.
Yeah, and just remember to click scan. Don't click photo when you're in the Notes app. There is a button that specifically says scan documents.
Okay, great. So once you get through that whole document prep process, the next thing is to help your customers find partners, and you can find partners by language or by county. So if you have clients who have special language needs, I believe there's, I mean, how many languages now are supported? It's quite a few, 10 or something. There's quite a few languages supported, and you can sort, I'll show you in a minute, you can sort basically by either county, by location, or by language on the main website. So businesses applying are going to choose one of about 36 partners, and they're going to apply through the partner, and the partners are all listed on the main site. And the main thing that you need to know about this is it's really important to apply through only one partner and come up with 2 or 3 ways to help your client remember and take a picture of or send an email or whatever they need to do, a screenshot of which partner they're applying through. So the minute they choose a partner and say apply now, somehow grab the URL that they get led to and the name of that organization as best you can. So that, because what happens is when they go back to try to maybe add to their application or upload additional documents to their application, they need to go back to the same portal, the same partner. And so I think that's almost like one of the hardest things is just helping your clients document, like triple document where they're applying to so that they can get back there.
Yeah, and I just want to mention something. This is not for round 4. Round 4 will have one application link, so it's going to be less of a problem, but this is for round 5. So I just want to make sure that people understand that.
Right. And if you really want to help nonprofits with round 4, please go to one of those arts organizations and they will support you. So once you get the application, either through location or language, you'll find it on the Grant Relief website, and every partner, you'll get sent to that partner's website and they will have their own application portal. So maybe I'll show that right now. I'll show that next. It's just kind of, let me share my screen in terms of, hold on, let me make sure I'm in the right spot. Here we go. Here we are. So here I am on the main website for the program. And this is, if you look at the top here, it says home, find a partner by county, by language. So that's the main way you're going to find a partner for people. If you're just working with the nonprofits on round 4, that's that tab right here. It has its own tab. They have webinars listed here, frequently asked questions, and information tips and videos on demand here. So that's the main thing. And I just wanted to show you, like if you decide you're working with people who need a certain language, if you click find an application by language, you scroll down here and these are the languages currently supported. Looks like there's about 18 or something there. So they can definitely find hopefully the language that they speak there, or they can look for one by county and all 58 California counties. And there's obviously a lot of them are listed here. And if you click through on any one county, you'll find all the partners that are supporting that county. So in this case, in Madeira is Access Plus Capital, American Indian Chamber of Commerce, Black Small Business Association of California, CalAsian, California Association for Nonprofits. So there's quite a few, and Madeira is not a big county, but you can see there's quite a few. The Women's Business Center Network, Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation has done a really good job supporting people. So that's that. And then I wanted to go back to the home and just orient you on the home page a little bit. There's, here's the funding rounds explained again in the sort of first part of the homepage. If what we said today wasn't clear, you come back and read about round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6. You can again find a partner by county, by language. And then here's the application guides. And the business guide is right here. The art and cultural application is here. And then we'll get to this next week, but that certification for nonprofit and for-profits here. And then there's other key information. If you keep scrolling on down, kind of goes on and on. But I guess I really wanted to get you here where you could look at the application guides and also know where to find a partner. And then I think, let me look at this application tips. So here again, the application tips are to like get informed, watch a video, get your documents together, go look at page 31 on the application guide so you figure out how to scan documents using your phone, and then go and find a partner. So I think this is like really helpful.
Susan, one more thing on that application and the scanning documents. We did have partners in round 1 and 2 that actually scanned documents for their clients, people who were a little bit tech challenged. So that is something that you can do and you can offer your clients as a means to help them.
And there's some other tips here we're going to have. Sorry, my dog is now begging for attention because she wants to eat dinner. Using Google Chrome is helpful. You don't have to, but it works a little better on Google Chrome. It's a little easier to navigate if you can help people navigate to that. It is important, and when people use email addresses to follow these guidelines here, emails beginning with info don't work very well. Emails ending with contact or no reply don't work very well. So they need to use just a more, not one of those big bucket emails, but something that's probably their personal email, so to speak. And here's more information on scanning documents are here. And let's see, your application certification, we'll go over that with you guys next week. And yeah, so that's that. So I think, you know, I just wanted to give you a sense that there's a lot of really good information there as well. All righty. So I showed you where to find the application guideline. You can get your very own copy. As I said, please refresh it regularly. Don't assume the one from last week is up to date. Again, our suggestions for you guys is to find the best partner for your client, either by location or language. Help your client save the partner application website address and organization name. If that's that, along with getting the documents uploaded, are the two things that are, I think, most critical in helping people successfully navigate this system, is saving their partner application website address and organization name, and help with those uploading documents. As we said, organize the required documents first. Apply only once. People sometimes are getting in a panic and applying multiple times, which we understand, but that actually bogs down their application. So please do your best to help them apply once, and remember how to get back to that very first application would be great. Again, common challenges: multiple applications can lock your applicants out of the site altogether. I'm repeating myself here, but this is truly a big deal. Clients not remembering which partner they use, so can't navigate back to where they started. Here's another big one: clients not looking for Lendistry calls, texts, and emails. Sometimes Lendistry emails are going into spam. So if there's any way you could remind your clients, like if you applied for the grant, go check your spam folder today, every day. Like, keep reminding your clients to look for Lendistry communications and check their spam folders. As we said, certainly helping them scanning and uploading documents. I know that Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation did this amazing job of having, you know, socially distanced, safe parking lot where people parked in every other slot, and they had like a Bluetooth or some kind of remote scanner, and they were doing it right there at people's cars out in the parking lot. Whatever creative ways you can come up with to help people scan and upload documents, it's super helpful. And the document page initially kind of was confusing. There's been some clarification on that. So we'll go over the document upload page. That's, I think, easier than it was last time. And again, if your clients are feeling panicked, try to calm them down. This is not a first come, first serve kind of thing. There's some criteria for people to get chosen, and they don't have to rush. They have to get it in by the deadline, but they really don't have to rush. Again, here's a list of the required documents: assigned application certification, all pages of the 2019 only. So that's the new change: 2019 only tax return, a government issued photo ID, evidence of gross annual revenue no less than $1,000, articles of incorporation, certificate of organization, fictitious name of or registration and government issued business license. And eventually you can do it the first time you apply or later after you've been awarded a grant, but verification of your bank account. Again, Chrome, using the Chrome is helpful. Using incognito mode, maybe we'll go over that next time, Heidi. Let's try to remember. We'll talk about why incognito mode might be useful if your clients are struggling to get back to their application. Using the incognito mode might help. And helping, if you can educate yourself on how to disable pop-up, oh, sorry, there's my dog, pop-up blockers, ad blockers, that also sometimes will prevent a website from loading. It would be really helpful if you don't know how to do that, to just go Google it and teach yourself how to do that. They can also reset their password if necessary. And then I think one of the last, here's some webinars. I want to jump to here. If people have submitted an application and are struggling and you can't seem to help them get back, that you can go directly to the Lendistry. There's a help number and a helpline. I don't know, Heidi, if you can push the help number in the chat, perhaps. I think we didn't include it. Did I include it on the next slide? Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is on the last slide. You can call the help desk, and you can also use this email address right here to get help with a particular application. So there's some places to get help with your applications. Let's see, and I think I skipped one. I think we already covered this, is like places to get webinars for round 5 and 6. That pretty much all the partners are required to do some webinars. So if there's a partner, if you're a partner, you need to do webinars, but if you're looking for webinars, pretty much every partner listed on the website is going to be doing some. The entire SBDC and WBC networks are involved offering webinars, and there's lists of webinars on the main website. And there's also just videos on demand on the website, available in multiple languages. So at that, I think, is our basic intro. Have we gotten any questions? How are we doing on questions?
Great. We don't have too many questions. So let's see. We answered the certificate of organization for a nonprofit that has under $50,000 in annual revenue. Is the 990N, which is sufficient for the tax part? I don't know the answer to that. It might be in the application guide, so I'm going to go look. Essentially, people want to know why they haven't heard from anyone, and can newbies still apply? So that was one of the questions at the very beginning. People, if they haven't heard from Lendistry, they should A, check their spam and junk folder, and B, if they haven't heard, then they should call that helpline that I just popped into chat, and that helpline can find out their status. And newbies will be allowed to apply starting March, what was it, 26th or 5th? 26th, I think. 5th help. What was it? Round 5, 25th.
25th.
Okay, great. The March 25th, newbies can apply. And then how many applications have been submitted? We do not know. The stats aren't coming out until, that's kind of up to the state to let that let us know when Lendistry can release. And then if an applicant wants to save a copy of their application, how do they do that? That's a good question, Brandy. I think for now, I don't think there's a
I think screenshots is the only way to
Yeah.
go. You get a screenful at a time, pretty much, on the application. Like, you load up one screenful and you complete it, and then you hit continue. So before they hit continue, take a screenshot of every section and then hit continue.
Yep.
I have my clients print each page as a PDF. Yeah, however you can do it. But to print it, well, don't you have to take a screenshot of it, Va? I'm not sure how else I would do it.
Yeah.
I guess you could do print screen. You could do print screen or screenshot. Yeah.
I'm looking for that. I don't have any other questions. I'm looking for that. Oh, wait. What would be in the from the Lendistry grant notices? I received a few, then none after the second round.
I don't know what that means from in
In
the
the email. I don't know the answer. Whoever the from was on those first few was, Tina.
I think it's still
do you know?
Lendistry, right? It's Lendistry, all the notifications.
Yeah, it's always from one of our Lendistry reps. Do they mean from, like as into who, or the subject line of the email? Because they vary. It depends on what notification is going out. But they all come directly from Lendistry. And for the ones that go out with notifications, say like the waitlist notification, it'll be from lendistry.com, and some of them will say no reply. But if it's in particular to them needing something like another document, it will definitely come from a Lendistry rep with @lendistry.com at the end of it.
So you could search your email for @Lendistry. You could probably just search it for Lendistry. I'm guessing that there's not too many people doing other business with you. So if you search your email by Lendistry, it should probably pop up. Except if it's in spam. So make sure you check the spam folder.
Also, don't look for the partner that you applied for. A lot of people look for the emails to come from maybe Cameo or from your organization. When they're searching, just make sure they search from Lendistry and not through the partner portal, because it won't come from them. It'll come from Lendistry.
Great.
Is it possible for a business to not have any of these types of docs? It's possible, Kelly, that they wouldn't have any of those docs. For example, businesses that are basically a sole proprietorship that is just sort of avoiding their city regulations and don't have a city business license may not have one. I would tell them to run out and go get one. But if you're a corporation, you would have to have one of those documents. A corporation can't be a corporation with one of those docs. The one type of business formation that may not have anything is a sole proprietorship. And that would be if they had just didn't want to pay the annual fee to their city for a business license and never got one. So they should definitely go and get one from the city and go ahead and pay the fee. I think the fee in my city is about $95 a year to have a business license, something like that. Great. Any other questions? You guys all pros now? We're getting pros at this?
I think so. All right. So we have one outstanding question. The question is, can hairdressers apply and gig workers? Yeah, they absolutely can apply. They have to, they just have to be able to, I'm sure that the hairdressers have some kind of business license, certification with the state. Gig workers did apply, and last time I can't remember exactly what the documentation is, so I'll have to get back to you on that. But yes, they can apply.
I think the documentation is the same, Heidi.
Yeah, the documentation, but there's something weird about the Uber, Lyft. When they started driving, I think that's what the question was. If they started, like, how did they prove when they started, then when they are in business? And I think there's something in the account that you can pull off your Uber backend driver account. So
that is absolutely correct, Heidi. And or they can use their 1099s. Uber or Lyft drivers have 1099s that are provided to them. So they can use those to prove that they are an Uber or Lyft driver.
Right.
So gig workers, yes. Hairdressers definitely have to have a license.
Yeah. So yes, help those. Let's get those people in. Let's get them applying in round 5.
And I have talked to some people who work with folks who do just work, who are, you might call in the informal sector and don't, file tax returns or have licenses or anything. And unfortunately, this program can't help them. It's too bad, but you do if your business is really underground, kind of cash only business, then you don't have the documents you need to apply.
Yes. Great. All right, so we have one out, as I was saying, we have one outstanding question, and that's the 990, and I believe that's okay.
I'll get it for you. We'll work on that because we're tightening up the nonprofit thing. So I'll get an answer for you, Heidi, so you can add into the email response.
Okay, great. So I think that's my one outstanding
So he
question.
said, please repeat the gig worker again. They have to show a 1099 or 1090.
So the gig workers, it's on a kind of case by case. They can apply, but if they are somebody, for example, like an Uber driver, they would need their 1099s, and Uber has an form. So when you register as a driver, they have a whole portal that all of their information is in, that they can go and pull the proof that they are an Uber driver. And they can use the 1099s from Uber to say that they are in fact a gig worker for Uber, because some people do multiple Uber, Lyft, deliveries, things like that. They can pull them off from the sites that they're registered to work with. But they do need to have taxes. So that's not the exception that they don't, the 1099 replaces the taxes. They still have to have filed taxes. The 1099 is proof that they are the gig worker. I hope that makes sense.
Mhm.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
So I have a lot of clients who are insurance agent, and they work for they're a business, but they work for a big FMO, and they file self-employment taxes. Can they use their Schedule C and the 1099 as proof too?
As proof of what? I'm sorry.
As proof for their business, as that they have a business, because they will probably not have a city license, not a FBN, and they will probably not have a Secretary of State business formation document.
They can, pretty much any business can go to their city and purchase a business license. I mean, even if you're just sitting at your desk being an insurance agent for a bigger company, you're running a business out of your home,
Okay.
and just tell them to go to the city and buy a business license.
Yeah, I'm because I'm asking because I did a presentation for a local FMO field marketing agency, and their leadership is saying that this is their leadership saying it to their agent, is that it's not necessary for them to have those. So that's why I wanted to clarify that.
I've
Well,
Tina,
the
I feel
city
like
might not
Schedule
agree
C.
with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to help as many people as possible. That's all.
Yeah.
But I think a Schedule C that proves you were in business in like.
Yeah, but they need both,
2018.
Heidi. They need the Schedule C tax return, and they need something like a article of incorporation or business license. They gotta have both. So, and just because the big company says you don't need a business license doesn't mean the city agrees with that. And so the city probably thinks that most people operating any business of any sort, home-based or otherwise, from within city limits, probably technically is supposed to have a business license.
Yes, Susan, I agree with you. I'm just trying to clarify things. That's all.
Yeah. So, I mean, most of these businesses could potentially get, $5,000. So even if you have to drop 100 or 2 on a business license, it might be worth it. I don't know what it costs in the big city. I live in a small rural town, and I think it's just about $100.
Depends on your income in Oakland. So,
Oh, it does.
Jackie has a question. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. I think you are.
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Jackie.
Good. Hello. I work for a city, and we've been working really hard to fast track and help folks who are trying to get their business license. One, if it's just, hey, I have a business license, but I don't have proof. Can you give me proof? So we are working, and I imagine other cities are doing the same thing to be able to get people the proof for the various grants that are out there. My question and clarification of the, for the gentleman that was just talking is, if you come to City Hall and let's say you've been in business for 10, 15 years, okay, but you didn't have a business license during that time. Now you come to City Hall because you're trying to apply for, trying to apply for one of these grants. You go and you get your business license, but now that business license basically starts from that day that you just purchased it. So now I turn it over to you, and then you have, with this grant, you have you have to be in business by such and such time. So how are you guys looking at that? Because this is a person that, in their mind, for all intents and purposes, they've been in business for 10, 15, 20 years, never had a business license.
Yeah,
How are you guys verifying that?
that's not a problem, Jackie, because the business license isn't the document that
Perfect.
establishes the start date.
Excellent.
I actually have to buy a business license every year, so that my current business license is always going to be something I purchased in the last, whatever, 2 to 6
Yes.
months.
But business licenses do have, like, when you issued. So if you've been somebody that's been actively in the community for 20 years, that business license is going to say, it was issued first back in the day. So, okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, I didn't notice that my business license had issued since.
Yes.
I'll have to go look at it. What if that's a city by city thing?
Yeah,
But-
I've worked in a couple different cities. That's usually how it is. It could be different in some places, or big cities
Okay.
or small cities, but usually I can tell if I'm verifying a business, I can tell how long they've been in business, based on the business license. Now, there's a difference in, well, I was in business for 10 years and then I got my business license, and ever since I've been, for whatever reason, taxes or whatever, been getting it. So thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. I think they'll use something, that's really why the 2019 taxes are more likely to be used to establish the start that the business was operating in 2019, not the business license.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Tina. I see the
But I'm
thumbs
gonna
up.
look at my
Appreciate
business
it.
license, because I'm not sure it has a issued since date on there.
Yours, I don't know. I don't know what city you're
I live in a very
in.
small town. It's
Yeah.
a simple document.
Yeah, that's something that very easily, when I look in the business license system, all systems are different. Some are, antiquated, some are newer, however it is, but that's usually something that I can see.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
They'll be safe, Jackie. They'll be safe. One of the unique things about the program is that is allowed. It's, in normal programs, you're not allowed to go back and get documentation. You're not allowed to, if you don't have it, you don't have it. This is one of the best things about this program, is that you're allowed to go and get this type of documentation, and that date won't hurt your application.
Excellent.
So you'll be safe. It'll be based off of the taxes.
Thank you.
Tina, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So I know that I've been applying, helping people apply here in Bakersfield, and there's a lot of areas that are not incorporated. And we're using the DBA instead of the license because the city they don't have a city license. And I noticed that it's going through well with your industry application. Is that something that could substitute this business license issue that you're talking about?
So their DBA, is their DBA something from the city?
From the
Yes,
county, right? It's from the county?
it's from the county, yeah.
Okay, so if it's from the county, that's definitely, and it's a case by case again, but if it's from the county, yes, that is something that could suffice, as long as it matches everything with their business, and as long as it's not something that's absolutely needed for the county. So just for example, let's say if it is, and I'm going to use what I'm super familiar with, hairdressers, they know they have to have a state license, right? Versus someone like what we talked about a little while ago, let's say, or let's say a farmer. Farmers sometimes don't have to have a particular license. They can still operate as a business. So if that is the case and the DBA is a document from the city, then yes, they can use that. And if something comes up, we'll work with them through getting the proper documentation, and or you guys can help them out, right? With walking them through with getting the right documents, but I think that document would be safe.
Thank you.
And Kelly, my understanding is on the 2019 tax return, they need to include all pages and schedules. Is that right, Tina? They have to include the entire
The
page one to
whole thing.
the whole thing.
The whole
Don't
shit.
leave anything out, just include all the schedules, all the everything.
Everything.
Great, well, it's right at 4. Are we good? We recorded this. Heidi, where will the recording live? Does it go out to everybody?
Excellent. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Okay.